Uh-oh. We have little birds chasing little birds. Yeah, so our little birds are growing up and they're starting to not really become sexually mature. They're starting to feel their instincts, right? Roosters are chasing hens. The roosters are picking on each other a little bit. Our duck is for sure ready to go out into the flock. And as I've talked about before, I probably will hold off and just move him or her at the same time as the chickens. But overall, everybody's looking good. They're all growing up. One thing you may notice, and it's a little bit of a bummer, is our little runt chicken isn't in the mix anymore. And the last video I took of these guys was, for me anyway, 2 days ago. For you guys, it probably is more like 4 or 5 days, but because I try and space them out, otherwise it would be kind of boring, wouldn't it? But last night, little chicken, the one who was just smaller than everybody, his feathers weren't fully in yet, etc., just stopped walking, sort of just went and laid on his side and said, I'm kind of done. And that's not how he was 2 days ago, where he was, in with the flock, running around, eating, drinking, pooping, peeing, doing all the chicken things. So what does that mean? Well, I took him and he is in the tack room in sort of a makeshift hospital at the moment. And the makeshift hospital is literally a cardboard box with food and water. Because my impression when I pick him up is that he's a little thin. And my suspicion, given how quickly we went from, hey, everything's fine, to, not everything's fine, is that that breeze feels so good, is that he's probably not getting enough to eat. And not because he can't reach the food, not because he can't get to the food. There's a ton of food. They're not even eating, right? Like they're busy picking bugs. They're not even eating all this food that's out there. So it's not a lack of food. It's not a lack of availability or access. And certainly he could be eating the same bugs and things that everybody else is. But I'm wondering if it's just a little bit harder for him at his size, and if he sort of got lazy and didn't work quite as hard, or because he had to work a little bit harder to get to the food and water, that he exhausted himself. And I actually think it's a hen, but I'm calling it a him because I told you before, I call all my birds him. So this morning, not much had changed in terms of his ability to walk, but I wouldn't expect anything significant to change overnight. These guys, birds are prey animals. They hide their sicknesses until they absolutely can't, which means when you finally see a symptom or you see a sign, your bird is sick and generally deathly ill. And it's a shame because, it makes it much harder to save them. And you have to be much more attuned to them. And when they're little like this, that going down so fast, one day they're fine, the next day they're not, is pretty normal because, again, they're hiding anything that they've got or how they're feeling, because if they looked sick, acted sick, they would attract predators, right? Think about their instincts in the wild. Why are you guys all hiding back here? It's such a beautiful morning. Come out. So my solution here is, there's no respiratory illness. There's no coccidia. There's nothing happening with this bird that's driving the lack of standing. He didn't hurt himself. There's no broken limbs, right? Like there's nothing underlying in that sense. And those are the big ones: respiratory illness, coccidia, of course, egg bound, but I'm not even talking about that because that's not a possibility at this age. And so the next best, or the next option for what it could be, is just a lack of nutrition and exhaustion. And that's my hope, right? So in a cardboard box, not in the big brooder, on purpose, right? So not because I don't want to pull the big brooder out and put him in there, but because I want him in tight, confined quarters where the food and the water is literally within reach of where he's sitting, and that he can't move away from it, so that he has no choice to be able to eat and drink without any effort. And my hope, my plan anyway, we'll see if it works, is that, you know, by reducing the amount of energy he's expending, even to stand up, even to walk from one side of a brooder to another, by eliminating all of that energy expenditure, by having him in a tack room. I don't need heat lamp. He doesn't need, you know, the temperatures are high enough. We don't need anything like that, but he's not expending energy to stay active in the flock. He's not expending energy to walk to his food and water, or even reach his neck up to get food and water. And I'll show you, I'll bring you in and I'll show you. My hope is that we'll be able to get him back up to where his energy reserves are built up and he can come back into the flock. Now, bringing him back in the flock will be another whole problem, because once he's separated for a few days, I'll have to integrate him as opposed to just being able to sort of toss him out there. Now, integration isn't hard. It just takes a little extra thought process. Look, Hugo is at the barn. He is back on full duty, by the way. We'll talk about him in a different video, but yeah, he is back. So I have to just be careful that I don't bring any dogs in here with me, and they want to be in here with me. What we've got, and again, this is on purpose, so I'm not being cruel. I am purposely confining chicken. You'll notice that what he's got is essentially 2 corners that he can hang in, a giant bowl of food that's enough for him for like 7 months, and water. All pretty much where all he has to do is turn his head, turn his neck. If he chooses to move his body, he does have a little bit of option to move, but I really want him to conserve his energy. Again, I'm calling it a him, but based on looks, I think it's a hen. And of course, it's a blue hen, so I'd love to save her. But at any rate, that is what's going on with this little one. Now, again, when we talk about some of the nasties, respiratory, so there's no discharge from the nostrils, there's no panting, there's no hard breathing. So, you know, there's no pneumonia or anything like that going on. Her eyes are bright and clear. She's alert. She's aware. She's definitely, you know, on point with what her surroundings are. But she's got no energy, is, again, my thought, right? So we put a little bit of an electrolyte solution in the water. That'll help if she's dehydrated, but I don't think so. Being in such a small confined area, I'll be able to examine poop when it happens. Hasn't happened yet, and I don't say that it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened this morning as of this recording. But each poop that I see is normally formed, it's normally shaped, it's not indicative of diarrhea or anything else, and that would be like coccidia, parasites, etc. But a little electrolyte in the water never hurts. So, you know, we're in a hospital type setup. It's currently pristine in this tack room. Unfortunately, it's not going to stay that way because it's going to get, let's see, we're at like 70 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and it's going to get to 93, 95. So we're going to climb 20 plus degrees today, and then it's going to stay in the upper 90s for the next 3 or 4 days, which stinks. So it's going to get warm in here, which means I might have to make some adjustments because actually, you know, there's an overheat situation versus an underheat situation. So we'll see. But for now, very comfortable, clearly sort of content, understands that she's got food and water, is bright, alert, and hopefully will get enough rest and enough stamina back, be able to, you know, build up her reserves over the next couple of days, and we'll be able to put her back in the flock. And in other news, the incubator is back running. I had turned it off. I thought I was done for the week or for the season, but no, my turkey have decided for whatever reason to bless me with a few late season eggs. They are probably not fertile, to be honest, and that is why I don't sell them at this time of the year. It's the end of their breeding season, and I don't find that fertility is as good as it is at the beginning of the season. So I won't sell these eggs, but I will pop them in the incubator and see what happens. So, hey, maybe in about 4 weeks from now, so now being July 14th, yes, 4 weeks from now, mid-August-ish, maybe we'll have some turkey babies. And then last in other news is we're talking about timelines. Tomorrow, July 15th, as you see this, I think on the day you're going to see this, it's soap release day. So we've got all of our really cool new July themes coming out. I'll preview that there's a few new scents coming out. So check that out if you want to. All proceeds go to support the animals on the farm, and you get an awesome bar of soap in return. So thanks again. And if you haven't hit subscribe, go ahead and hit subscribe. Keep your thoughts out for this little girl. We're going to see what we can do for her, and I'll keep you posted. And as always, until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.